Welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to discuss HTML attributes. Some element tags have attributes that you can directly manipulate, such as adding a link or adding a source image. What we're going to do is discover attributes of HTML with the two main common attribute examples, and that is how you can actually show an image on your website and how you can link to either another page or another outside website inside your HTML. Let's get started. Alright, here I have my text editor, and this text editor is open right now to basic.html, and in my browser I also have basic.html file path linked to. I'm going to create one more HTML file. So there's different ways you can do this. One easy way to do it is just duplicating my existing HTML file and calling it something different. So I will literally just call it different.html, and now I have two HTML files, basic HTML and different HTML. Let's start with the basic HTML. So I'll type out HTML, and then inside the body, I'll have a heading 1, and then I will say basic HTML. This is just so I remember what actual file I'm looking at. I've connected it already to my browser, so if I refresh, I see basic HTML. And notice these are both located in the same folder. And my different HTML, right now it's blank, so we'll keep it that way. Back to the basic HTML. What we're going to do is show you how you can actually link to an image inside of your HTML. And images, their specific tag is known as a self-closing tag. You'll see here that a lot of these other tags have both an opening tag, such as h1 here, and then a closing tag, again h1, but has a /. You notice it's the same for this head tag, as well as this body tag. However, this HTML tag actually closes by itself, as well as this meta tag. An image tag works the same way. As you begin to type img, which is an image tag, and hit enter, you'll notice that it's actually self-closing, meaning there's no corresponding closing image tag. Instead, we just need to provide the source of the image. You can actually provide the source of the image either locally or online. So what you should do is inside your browser, go to a website called unsplash.com. So I actually have it open here. Again, it's just unsplash.com. These are beautiful free photos, and they're all gifted, so you don't have to worry about any copyright issues. Let's look up a picture of a puppy. So I'll just say search for puppy and find one that you like. So this guy looks pretty cute. Let's get him. And then I'm going to just right click this, and I'm going to copy the image address. Once I've copied the image address, I'm going to put that here as the source. So src stands for source. So this basically is telling the image tag what the source of the file is for the image. So if we zoom out a little more so you can see the big file path here, you'll notice here I have an image tag, and in this case it's a super long source because it's a really long link for the Unsplash image, but there it is. Okay, so again, just copy and paste that address that the image is hosted at. I'm going to come back to basic HTML. Let me save that image change, refresh my basic HTML site, and if I collapse this, you'll notice now I have this picture of the dog. You'll notice that it's actually huge. It's a high quality image, so it's a really big picture. Later on when we discuss CSS, we'll tell you how you can resize this, but for right now, you now know how to link a basic image using images. Okay, so let's actually then show you how you can link to a local image. So to do that, I'm going to download this image, so I will say save image as, and I'll save it to that same folder where I have the Flask examples, and say save it as puppy_pic. So we'll save that as a JPEG file, and if you take a look, now with basic HTML and different.html, I now have that puppy_pic.jpg. And it doesn't have to be a picture from this website, it can be any JPEG or PNG file. The main idea is instead of now linking to something online, I'm going to show you how you can link to something locally. So I'll delete this, the image we had earlier, and then let's zoom in a little bit. So here we have basic HTML. I'll type out image again for my image tag, img, hit enter, and now it wants the source. Since my JPEG file is in the same location as the HTML file, all I need to do is provide the name of that file, which I've named puppy_pic.jpg. We'll save that, and then when I come back to basic HTML, when I refresh, notice nothing changes. Because now, this image right here, it's not actually from unsplash.com, it's instead just being shown locally. and pretty much we'll always be showing our own images hosted on our own servers. But you can actually link both locally and on the internet, so keep that in mind. You probably also noticed this ALT parameter, or ALT. That basically stands for alternative, which intends to show something else in case you can't find this actual JPEG. So for instance, let's type in the source as missing.jpg. Now, I don't have a file called missing.jpg, so I should see some sort of broken link. So I will save that change, refresh my browser, and notice right now it's broken. There's actually no image to show. So what I can do is have an alternate, either an alternate image link or even just a string. I can say, uh-oh, image, no image, or image not found. So I'm going to collapse my bar here, my left-hand side panel. So I'm saying image, source is missing.jpg. Again, I don't actually have a file called missing.jpg, so I have an alternate, and it will say, uh-oh, no image. So when I save this and refresh, I see, uh-oh, no image, and that little broken image. Okay, so that's the main ideas behind an image tag. Essentially, there's two main components. The source, which is either a local file that you're hosting, or a link to an image online. Keep in mind, I was able to do something like puppy_pic because I have this file in the same folder as basic.html. If I have this JPEG file somewhere else on my server or my computer, I may need to actually provide the whole file path, which may be something like on Windows, C, user, Jose, puppypic, or something similar to that. Later on, when we actually learn about Flask, we won't be hard coding these paths ourselves. Okay, so we have images down. The last thing we want to show you is how you can actually create hyperlinks inside of your HTML file. So I'll delete this image tag, and I'm going to now use an A tag or an anchor tag, which allows me to set a link to another website. So right now we have href and just a hashtag. And notice this anchor tag is not a self-closing tag, so it has an opening tag and a closing tag. And what happens is you can type in something into this anchor tag, so my link here, save this, and I'm going to refresh the page here, and I see my link here. Notice it's a hyperlink. Granted, when I click on it, nothing's actually going to happen because it doesn't know where to link to, which is what this href is for. So I have two options. I can either link it to another HTML file I'm hosting locally, or I can even link it to another website. For example, I can type out http:// dot, and then just a website name, for instance, google.com or facebook.com or npr.org, etc. So let's save that for npr.org, and I'll say go to NPR. And then if I refresh this, I get to see this link, basic HTML, go to NPR. And when I click on go to NPR, it will actually take me now to whatever link I said, which was the NPR website, npr.org. And now I can link to other websites on the internet. Let me go back here. Often we won't be linking to other websites. Instead, we'll be linking to other web pages on our own server. So notice that I have this different.html. Let's go ahead and link to different.html. First off, let's type out HTML and have it fill in that skeleton code for us. And in the body of different.html, I'll have heading 1, and it will just say different. That way I can remember what actual website I'm looking at. So I have my basic.html, which says go to NPR. So we'll come back here, and instead of saying go to NPR, for my H reference, I'm just actually going to put in that file path, which is different.html. Again, keep in mind, if different.html was located on a different part of my computer, like a different folder, I'd have to provide the whole file path. But since it's in the same folder as basic.html, I just need to provide its name. So let's save that change, refresh here, and it still says go to NPR, so let's change that as well. Let's say go to different, save that, refresh. All right, now it says go to different, and when I click on it, it shows different. So it was able to take me to that other HTML page. All right, that's really the basics of using image tags and anchor tags. Again, image tags can either have a source that's a local image or link to an image online, And anchor tags, in a very similar manner, can either link to another website online by providing the HTTP file path for it, or you can provide a local HTML file and link to your own websites or web pages or own templates. Okay, that's it for the basics of HTML attributes. The main idea behind attributes is that, again, inside of these tags, we had attributes we could define, such as this src source or href. Thanks, and we'll see you at the next lecture.